contrary to popular opinion or conventional wisdom, people don't burn out from too much to do, but from too little reason to do it. In other words, they lack a purpose that seems sufficient. And having a stronger sense of purpose is the thing that inoculates them against burning out. Now, when I say burnout, I want to be clear. There's a big difference between fatigue and burnout. And sometimes if you're overworked, you can feel really tired. You can need to take a rest because you're physically fatigued. And that's not good, but it's also not terribly troublesome to me because you can address it, right? You can take a nap, eat some broccoli, run a mile, recoup, and you'll come back for more. In fact, sometimes fatigue isn't even a bad thing. Sometimes it's a badge of honor or an indicator that you're doing meaningful, substantive things. Like, have you ever experienced that good tired? I'm a little nuts. My idea of a great Saturday is get up before the sun and go start working in the yard. I love yard work, and we have some land and animals, and I love to take care of them. And I'll be outside all day, and I'll come in just absolutely wiped out after the sun sets. But it's that good tired. Like, I'm fatigued, but I want to eat something, I want to sleep, and then I can't wait to get back at it, right? So fatigue is something that we can deal with, but burnout is different because it's not just a physical toil. It means that we're starting to lack a sense of meaning that can sustain us in the situation. That's why I mentioned that you're not overworked, you're underworked in that situation. And the only thing that can inoculate you against burnout is a greater sense of purpose and the ability to add to somebody's clarity and sense of purpose. In fact, if you try to address burnout like you would fatigue by just like reducing somebody's load or taking things off their to-do list, you can actually make burnout worse. Because if you take the wrong thing off the to-do list, well, they might have less work, but you might have accidentally taken the thing off that at least gave them some sense of meaning, some sense of fuel that they could run on. Maybe related to this too, if any of you is ever sort of teetering on the sense that you might be burning out, there's a sort of desperate last move you might make. It's the last thing that you would think because you usually have a full to-do list, and the last thing you want is something else to put on your to-do list. But can I suggest that you put something on your to-do list that really matters to you, something that means a lot to you? Because sometimes the net effect of even adding one more thing to your list, if it at least connects you again or afresh with some meaningful purpose, can give you a real influx of energy and resilience. Because again, we're creatures of conviction. We run on this stuff, and we need a sense of purpose in order to persist. As an aside, I might mention this about your volunteers as well. One of the fastest ways to lose your volunteers is to not give them meaningful work. And I know this is hard because sometimes meaningful work means more work or work at longer hours. And most of us are wary that if we ask too much of our volunteers, we might lose our volunteers. But experience has demonstrated to me that that's the last thing that's going to happen. Think of it this way, that why do volunteers come and serve on your team or in your church? Well, it's not for the pay, right? Because they're volunteers. They come because whatever it is that they're contributing to matters to them. They come because it's meaningful to them, and they come for the opportunity to contribute meaningfully to this laudable purpose. So track with me here. In a sense, their remuneration is the chance to contribute meaningfully to this purpose. Well, if you don't give them the chance to do things that take a lot out of them or do something significant, and you're sort of cutting their connection to purpose, and for them that's like giving them a pay cut. And when your volunteers choose to go somewhere else, it's not because they were overworked. It's because the experience was underworked.